All right, everyone. Nikkihaley stepping in it by accidentally justifying Trump's new nickname for her. The reason why he's lashing out at her is because clearly DeSantis now has faltered. He's in like fourth place in New Hampshire. He's fallen down in South Carolina. Nikki Haley is now more and more being astroturfed as the heir apparent to knock the evil orange man off his pedestal. I don't know that I even would have bothered at this point. Trump likes to get in little sound bites, quips, and attacks on people that are opposing him, and that part is funny, and this is definitely funny. We'll be talking about it in a second. But I mean, it's kind of a pointless exercise because Trump's now, what, plus 45 or something ahead of the entire GOP field. He only really needs to rise another couple of points to be literally undefeatable as opposed to figuratively undefeatable because there's no real capability for anyone else, I think, at this point to get enough oxygen to knock off any of the first states. The DeSantis team is now effectively saying, well, we can still make it if we just come in second in the first three states. So talk about lowered expectations. Before it was we're going to win Iowa, that momentum will allow us to at least come very close in New Hampshire, where basically at that point we've won one of the first two states, came in just behind in the other one. Well, now our campaign has life, and by then other people have dropped out, and they're counting on their endorsements, which, is hit or miss as to whether that happens. But nobody really has the oxygen in the room, I think, at this point to be able to pull it off. But this is hilarious nonetheless. Donald Trump the other day called Nikki Haley a bird brain, which, I mean, you should have used war pig because that's more literally true. Her entire foreign policy can be summed up as, yeah, kill him, basically. It's like John McCain with ovaries. But then his campaign, and it appears to have actually been somebody from the campaign itself. At first, people were saying they thought it was a Jussie Smollett moment, but it looks like it's actually real. They dropped off a bird cage with like, I don't know, chips or some bird feed on top of it. I can't tell. And a little sign that says from the Trump campaign. They dropped it off at her hotel room where she was staying when she was doing her political candidacy shtick. And I thought it was hilarious. Some people are like, well, here's dastardly Donald being disrespectful again. How dare they track her down to her hotel room? This is basically violence and, all the hyperbolic shit that you get anyway. Do you know why the Trump campaign does this with impunity and just sort of shrugs it off when people say such things? Because they say that on a normal day anyway. They've been saying that Donald Trump is evil. He's going to shoot somebody on Madison Avenue or whatever he said. He's violent. He wants to overthrow the government. So, I mean, you've already unleashed all of your ammo on Trump. It doesn't do anything. So if he wants to have some fun and the people in his campaign think it's funny to leave a birdcage outside of Nikki Haley's hotel room door, I thought it was funny. It's just like the Paul Pelosi reference the other day where he talks about how he built a wall and the Pelosi's tried, but they failed, basically. It's funny. It's called political humor. And by the way, if it were anyone other than Donald Trump, a lot of these people would be smirking right now. Even some Democrats would be smirking actually at the moment, mainly because Nikki Haley's a Republican, at least in name. I mean, she represents yesteryear's Republican Party. I do realize how funny it is that a lot of these real warmongering neocons were at one point associated with Trump and now have abandoned him. And I think I know why on that too. I've discussed that before. I think it's because he didn't have political experience. He figured he'd govern and do everything himself, not quite realizing how important those positions were for logistic purposes. And he was trying to give like an olive branch to the neocons to get him off his back so he could just pursue his basic agenda. And it didn't quite work. I don't think he'll replicate that mistake in a second term because now he has on-the-job experience and comprehends the problem with having a bunch of neocons in your cabinet. You should have Vivek Ramaswamy on it. That'd be funny. Could do worse. Matt Gaetz maybe or somebody like that. By the way, they're trying to expel him right now. If he goes after Kevin McCarthy, we're going to try to expel him. Basically, the lead up to this was days ago, and they're saying, well, if the ethics probe finds problems with Gates, we're going to try to get rid of him. They're just fishing for an excuse at this point. Of course, there were never any charges in that false case anyway. With Trump, you have the same thing, but at least you have epic memes. This is hilarious. And I'm not going to pretend that it's not hilarious. I see people saying, well, somebody went to her hotel room That's basically stalking. Oh my God, Trump's being unpresidential again. Since when has Trump been, in the standard sense, a presidential figure? He never has been. It's part of the reason why I want to vote for him again. Look at all the other very, very solemn and stern presidents that we've had in recent world history, and how some of them have failed completely. George W., he had a great sense of decorum, other than the whole Bushisms thing. He didn't make mean tweets or anything like that. Do you want Bush back? Some of these people seem to say the answer is yes, which frightens me perhaps more than anything else, more than any of the Democrats. They're willing to admit to the fact that they're nuts and evil. Then you have Republicans pretending, going through the motions like a Mike Pence. Oh, I care about the American Republic. I care about restoring democracy. Well, okay. Well, you don't generally do that by bombing people and frittering away our money on wasteful spending. But yeah, I guess conservatism has different meanings to different people. The reason I don't call myself a conservative. Donald Trump isn't either, which is why he wins. To be clear, Nikki Haley wouldn't. If Nikki Haley were elected, this is why she goes beyond Birdbrain into war piggery. Foreign policy is start a war or two, because she wants to be the female John McCain. She'd like that. Domestic policy is fuck the American people. March towards globalism just a little bit more slowly than the Democrats say they want to. This is basically the Bush Republican thing, and the one person there that bucks that trend is Donald Trump, which is probably why in the modern political hegemon he's leading so handily. Also, really quick aside when we're talking about that, I like it when people are comparing Trump to Giuliani. DeSantis fans do that because Giuliani was handily ahead for months and months, and then he dropped out of the frame of existence, and John McCain was the nominee, insinuating that DeSantis will do the same thing. The problem being Giuliani hadn't been a president yet, never led by anywhere near the margin Trump's leading by, and had talented opponents. Maybe not honest ones, but John McCain, rhetorically speaking, yeah, he was talented. He was a bit of a wordsmith and just one that wanted to use his rhetoric to start World War III. So, yeah, wake me up when Ron DeSantis has the kind of political chops that John McCain did by 2008, and then we'll talk. In the meantime, I'm still going to enjoy the Trump trolling because it's sort of his MO. Stop pretending it's not fucking hilarious. That's about all. Peace out.